My name is Menrad, and I am a founding board member of the Palm Springs Modern Committee. So how did I come to choose this house or own this house? I decided I wanted to purchase a piece of property in Palm Springs as it was really cheap, and I figured the grading of America would force more people to come to these sort of retirement communities and the values would maybe bubble up. I came here, I had no real estate agent. I was just driving along Palm Canyon and I could see the roof line of these houses, which is it's a butterfly roof line. It looked like the tail fins of a Cadillac. And I saw them and I go like, what on earth is that? And I drove into the neighborhood, and the minute I entered it, I go, this is exactly what I want. I drove down the street. This house happened to have an open house that exact moment. I walked in and I said, this is exactly what I want. The neighborhood wasn't that great then, but it was just so special. The light, the way it was laid out, so easy to live here. That's how I came to own it. Just like it was a ray gun leading me to the front door. The inspiration for the interior, really, it's just stuff I always have liked. Even from a young kid, we used to tour a lot of model homes, and in the 60s, they were just done generally very modern, and I always loved that look. We didn't live in a house like that, but my room was like that. So I basically just transferred what I liked when I was younger into this house, and over time I became more knowledgeable about different furniture designers or pieces, and so I just kind of collected the things that I liked, and the things have been swapped in and out over the years, but they're all kind of cool pieces that pretty much were all available to home buyers when they bought these homes. But from photographs I've seen of the era, nobody decorated their homes in all these modern styles that we think they did. They actually were more traditional. I first met William Kreisel, who's the architect of this house, in 2006. I was just starting the renovation of this house, and I got a little bit stumped as to what to do. And I called him with a little bit of trepidation because I heard he was a little difficult. He came to the desert for one reason or another. I found out he was coming down, and I said, why don't you just come by? And he did, and he was so impressed with the work I had already started on the house that he gave me everything I wanted. Plans, advice, and I got that published, and he hadn't been in a magazine and since probably the 70s. So all of a sudden he started to get all these calls, and his name just sort of bubbled up from that one particular article. So my relationship with Kreisel and working on this house and actually 3 others in the neighborhood here, Twin Palms, led me to realize that he had a big story to tell, and Palm Springs was actually a small part of it, but still enough. And I felt that he deserved to have a book. Somebody should do it. And so me and my book editor decided to put it together. We got a publisher immediately who agreed to do it, and we worked diligently and got it all written up in 4 months with the help of some other authors who did different chapters. I consider architecture to be a high form of art, and then there's art within the art, but then also vintage cars. I mean, if you look and see what they produce today, like, who cares? You can't tell one that was built today from 10 or even more years ago. But in that era, there was so much effort and intense design put into them because they had a much freer hand at what they could do. And I love the idea that to me, they're sculpture on wheels as well. And because they're so unique and different that when you're going down the road, you just feel like you're just very special and everybody kind of gives you a thumbs up. But I just love driving them because I think it just sort of kind of puts you never really leave the house. You're always in that era. And that's a lovely era to be in. The first car that I bought, I was in college, and it was a 1968 Corvette, rally red with a white convertible top. And I restored it to perfection. That's where I kind of learned about taking cars back to how the factory did them, which is my idea also about this house, is I wanted to restore it back to how it was when the Alexanders first delivered it. So to me, the restoration of a car and restoration of a house, they're kind of the same thing. There's a plan, a roadmap, whether it's an assembly manual or plans that the architect drew up, but you can use them to recreate what was originally there and preserve it for future generations, or basically create a version of it for future generations. So as a board member of the Palm Springs Modern Committee, which was founded in 1999, so this is our 25th year. We were founded because back in those days, nobody cared about mid-century. Very few people. The city hall wanted to tear everything down and turn it into a desert. So we felt there was value and history here, and we wanted to save it and also to educate people about why we were saving it. So we became a nonprofit right off the bat. Additionally, we created a political action committee to be able to contribute to candidates who share our preservation values. Well, personally, I always Loved it. It's really the architecture and design of my time. It's also uniquely American. I mean, it's an international movement, but really this country is where I think it found its voice. I like to support, obviously, our fundraising efforts. And one of the things Palm Springs Modern Committee does, besides advocate for the preservation of modern architecture, is we are now doing programs at the local schools, model making, education about modernism, and we do home tours for the kids. I open my house up occasionally for them, and so that's why I'm opening it up to you.